Okay, well, this dude, Dave Collum, who's like a complete right-wing nutcase. I want to listen to what he had to say to Tucker. He said some like he said that Hitler was a hero, effectively. He said we should have partnered with Hitler instead of like with Stalin in World War II, and if we had, the Holocaust would have never happened. And that Hitler was like protecting us and stuff. It was just insane. And for some reason, the subtitles default to Russian. Why? Why do they default to Russian on this one video? I've never seen that before in my entire life, but the subtitles exist for English, which is even weirder. Anyway, all right, let's listen to these two poor fools talk about what QAnon is.
Yeah, it's like like the pilots who throw the debris out the back of the plane so that the guided missiles don't know what to hit.
Of course, exactly right.
Right. And they...
I'm sorry, let me step back and figure out what he's talking about. This section is called, hang on, it says, the global political kayfabe. I don't know what they're talking about exactly here, but in wrestling, kayfabe was the word that the wrestlers would use with each other when there were fans around, or when people were around who weren't supposed to know that wrestling was faked. So like the heel, the bad guy, and the good guy in wrestling, they were really friends. They were all good guys, ultimately. And it was all just a big show. And if there were fans around, they would tell they would tell each other that there were fans around by saying kayfabe. That's what that means. So the title of this little section marker is the global political kayfabe. I can only imagine that they're saying that it's all faked and that the global elites control everything and blah, 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 all that other junk. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
To what's happening. I think that's clearly true.
So what is a fact? That was the title of last year's write-up. What is a fact?
When he says the last year's write-up, he claims to do prophetic political like Substack posts.
Very few college professors do what college professors are supposed to do, which is kind of break through outside campus into the conversation among smart people about what the world is about.
He's a college professor at Cornell.
And in other words, they don't kind of influence the broader culture directly. And you do, and you're an organic chemistry professor. How are you allowed to do this at Cornell?
Oh, give it a fucking rest, dude. Everybody is constantly a victim. Nobody is ever allowed to do anything, and the government is stopping. Blah, blah, blah.
Actually control you can't restrict the flow of information across the internet.
So you throw debris out there.
Yeah,
it's like the pilots who throw the debris out the back of the plane so that the guided missiles don't know what to hit.
Of course, exactly right.
Right. And they also throw out debris so that then they can prove that it's not true, so you feel like an idiot.
QAnon was clearly that.
Interesting. He's talking smack about QAnon right now. Okay.
QAnon. Yeah, QAnon.
What was QAnon?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I avoid,
What was QAnon? It's still around very much, and it's extremely popular, like today even. What are you talking about? What was QAnon?
I'd be listening to
and QAnon specifically, I like whether you believed in QAnon specifically is up in the air, but Tucker intentionally, specifically, explicitly encouraged people to believe QAnon beliefs. That was like part of his whole bit, his whole deal. That's what he's famous for doing, encouraging QAnon.
Something, and it would have useful information, and all of a sudden then it would show the whole, and here's Trump and his generals are going to save the world.
No, I agree.
For Christ's sakes.
But the interesting, I never knew anything about QAnon. I never paid any attention.
Yeah, totally. I bet.
In general, I have a good friend who I really admire, is much smarter than I am, who, because he is smarter than I am, took like a year to look into QAnon.
What do you get?
I don't fully understand it, but here's what I understand is that,
God, these people are so transparently full of shit.
Some of the predictions in QAnon came true. mean, it's a
No, they didn't.
sophisticated thing. It's not just
Oh, I think it's a bunch of ex-spooks.
for sure.
No, it isn't. Are you serious right now? This is sad, dude, really. A bunch of ex-CIA people is what that means? You think it was a bunch of ex-CIA people running QAnon? Do you know who runs QAnon? I'll tell you who runs it and who has run it for a while. First was a guy named Paul Ferber. Show you a picture. Hold on. Here you go. This is Paul Ferber right here on the right. This guy. And then it was a guy named Ron Watkins. Let me pull up a video of him because he ran for office in Arizona and lost. And he was like so bad. He did a debate. This is Ron Watkins. This is Q. This is the guy that runs QAnon.
My name is Ron Watkins, and I am not a politician. I am an
No fucking shit.
entrepreneur, and I'm a computer scientist. We have to send a fighter, and I am your fighter. I am fighting for you. If you send me to DC, you will know that I will be fighting against this evil, and I will make sure that we drive them back, and I will make sure that your rights are kept.
Okay, I would have gone with are protected, but kept, I suppose, works. Whatever.
Biggest issue for this district is the border wall. The border wall was not completed, and there are actually sections of it that were destroyed. And I went down to those sections and I asked the locals, how did this section of the border wall get destroyed? And they told me that Biden sent the Army Corps of Engineers down there to destroy the border wall for flood prevention issues. So I went down there and I saw with my own eyes, I saw the coyotes.
Which is people who are smuggling others across the border.
Sitting right across the border. The coyotes looked me in the eyes and they ran away.
The coyotes are afraid of him. I mean, coyotes, in all seriousness, are extremists, usually gang members, cartel members, violent, willing to literally chop somebody's arm off because they don't pay them money. Like, they're not good people. And these coyotes were afraid of Ron Watkins. They saw him from across the way and were like, this guy, too much. Can't deal with this dude.
Say that we would not even be in Ukraine if President Biden did not shut down the Keystone Pipeline on the first day.
He literally just said, if Biden hadn't shut down the Keystone Pipeline, we wouldn't be in Ukraine.
Because now that that's shut down, we have to get our oil, and we're getting it from Russia, and we're getting all these problems through the Ukraine, and that would not have happened if Biden did not.
So you see, the Ukraine, the pipeline helped prompt Russia to invade Ukraine.
Yes, sir. Because we've got all
That's simply false, of course.
of this oil coming through from Russia to the United States, and they want the better routes to bring the oil through.
That's not why they went into Ukraine. They went into Ukraine because Ukraine didn't want to be part of NATO. Listen, you're trying to work on the national stage and you don't even know why the war started in Ukraine. It had nothing to do with the Keystone Pipeline. The Keystone Pipeline caused the inflation and the increase in our gas prices. The reason
It didn't actually, but okay.
why they went into Ukraine is because Russia wanted Ukraine as they had them pre-World War II, and Ukraine wanted to be part of NATO.
Respond, please.
That's correct.
He's right. I made a mistake.
All right.
Anyway, this is Q. That's Q right there. That guy. So I don't know like what these people are talking about. They think that like Q is a bunch like some ex-CIA people or whatever. What are you smoking, brother? This is complete nonsense.
It's not a bunch of college kids on
No.
4chan or whatever
No.
they claim it was.
These are guys who are probably pissed that the system went bad.
It was on 4chan. What are you talking about? It wasn't on 4chan. It was on 4chan. That's where it took place, was 4chan and then 8chan. Owned by Ron Watkins, by the way. He was the server admin on 8chan. So it's like, what are you even talking about? Literally, none of this makes any sense, what they're saying. This is complete and total unadulterated nonsense.
4chan or whatever
No.
they claim it was.
These are guys who are probably pissed that the system went bad.
It was the point of it. And it's unclear, who was behind it. I have some theories.
No, it's very clear who is behind it. Everybody knows, except for you, apparently.
But people I know actually, but I don't know if they're true. But what is obvious to me is that it's a control mechanism, trying to siphon off some of that energy and move it in a
Siphoning off the energy. That's
less dangerous direction.
Right. Focus on Wuhan, right? Focus on the lab in Wuhan.
And I get in earlier in this, he said, Wuhan is not where like COVID was produced. It was produced in North Carolina secretly. God, it's so stupid. All of it is so goddamn fucking stupid, dude. Really. It's all so fucking stupid.
That's siphoning.
It's all
off, yeah.
American politics. Like,
Right.
have a race war. Leave us alone as we loot your country.
That's right. That's right. It's
Leave us alone as you loot your country. Have a race war. So he's saying have a race war and then blaming black people for the race war by saying, they're looting the country or whatever. That was a subtle dog whistle, but not that subtle. What a colossal piece of shit, dude. Really. What is wrong with people? Like, I mean, step back and really think about what just happened. There was a period of time in this country where saying some depraved shit like that, like saying something so overtly racist as there's a race war and they're just going to loot the country. Saying something so overtly racist like that would have been unacceptable. There was a short period of about 50 years where this dude, less than that even, just 10 or 20 years, I guess, from 1990 to 2010, a short period of time where that shit, like, he might have been canceled for saying that shit. And all of a sudden, we're now in 2025 and nobody cares. These people will say whatever. They're cancel proof. They're scandal proof now. They can say whatever they want and get away with it. Disgusting.
There's a meme out there. There's a joke where the king and his right-hand man, his chief of staff, are looking at the angry townspeople. Some have pitchforks and some have torches. And the king says, "Don't you have to worry. You just convince the guys with the pitchforks are the enemies of the guys with the torches."
No, that's 100% real. Absolutely, yes. God, his laugh is so fucking stupid, dude. I'm sorry.
So you said that a couple times. Focus on Wuhan.
Wow, that was sudden. Did he just stop laughing and then there was dead silence?
So you said that a couple times. Focus on Wuhan. I've fallen for that squirrel Wuhan thing. Why?
A blind
Wow, a subtle reference to the movie Up. I'll take it.
nut finds the squirrel.
That's funny.
I'm sorry?
A blind nut finds the squirrel.
A blind nut finds the squirrel? Said that was funny. I don't get it.
That's funny.
Wow, dude, that laugh was so fucking fake. Did you listen one more time? It was just real and then just deadpan. I love that shit.
Why?
A blind nut finds the squirrel.
That's funny.
What the fuck?
That's real. I'm stealing that. Sorry, making a note.
That's an original.
I like
never
that.
know if I heard it and forgot where I got it, but that's an original.
It's the squirrel. What is that distracting?
I think it is great. You put me in an asylum overnight.
In an asylum overnight?
Yeah. My hotel's a former asylum.
Is it really?
Yeah. You didn't ask?
No.
Oh yeah, it's a.
Wow. So Tucker put this guy up in a hotel and it's a previous asylum. Is that what he's saying? Okay. I don't see why he cares. A, and B, why did he bring it up in the first place? And C, why would Tucker know that?
Former asylum. I said you finally got it right.
Well, I think
I don't get it. You finally got it right?
there's wisdom here.
There is wisdom here.
What are they distracting us from by having us focus on Wuhan?
Well, huge amounts of grift. You interviewed Catherine Austin Fitz.
Yes.
I've been blessed.
A smart woman.
So I come out of nowhere. I have no credentials beyond those that I can create, right? And I think one of the ways you create it is by being truthful.
Yes.
And I know
Yeah, this guy's super truthful. All right, 100%.
truth is everything to you.
I try to make it that.
And actually in this book, The Moral Animal, they say the reason we self-delude is so that you can be truthful and deceive your opponent. That's what self-delusion is.
Yes.
And
I practiced a lot of that.
I've been
Practiced a lot of self-delusion, okay?
adopted by some people who didn't have to adopt me. And so, for example, I'm tight with Steve Hanke, who's a famous economist, and Catherine has been very supportive, and there's several dozen who somehow have decided that I'm worth their time, and help me. and so they're useful to chat with. They're useful to, but Catherine's story, and a lot of people think Catherine's nuts, right?
I'm not actually sure who this Catherine fellow is, but if she's friends with this poor fool right here, I'm going to bet that she is a complete nutcase.
But she talks about the huge amount of resources that have been siphoned off in the tens of trillions of dollars of resources that have been
I know
siphoned
Catherine
off.
Austin Fitz. You can disagree with her. She's not nuts. That's not true.
She's not what?
Nuts.
Okay. Well, first of all, he didn't say she was nuts. He said she wasn't nuts. So you're preaching to the choir. And second, if Tucker is also reaffirming that she's not nuts, I'm going to bet that she's nuts.
Oh, no, I don't think she is nuts,
No.
right?
No, she's a grounded person.
She could have things wrong, but
100%.
that's totally different. And I had another friend who I think is phenomenal, tell me that she's nuts and don't get near her. And I said, no, I don't think so. But we all can get sucked down into the rabbit holes to the point you can't get out too. There are days where I wish, why don't you just go play golf?
Yeah.
Or right now I'm on my house is hanging off a 100-foot cliff looking west over Cuga Lake. I can literally throw
Okay.
a rotten fruit off my deck and drop it down into the drink
Wow, look at you.
from, I'll show you afterwards. I'll show you photos. The view is such that if there are places in the country where the view would cost $20 million, not in Ithaca, of course.
Okay. I don't understand why I care or where this is coming from.
And people come and visit. They should. It's beautiful. I can't remember why I said that. That's
You're
probably
saying that people dismiss, the few who are just committed to pursuing truth no matter what as crazy. And you gave Catherine Austin Fitz as an example, but you said you can actually go crazy
Oh yeah,
by looking too carefully into.
So the
what
lake
actually
I'm on
happened.
turns out broke the New York State smallmouth bass record about 3 years ago. Broke the New York State largemouth bass record last year. And I used to fish all the time when I was a kid, and I haven't fished it.
All right. I'm still not sure why he said any of that, but okay.
What's wrong with this picture?
Well, if you've got smallmouth bass there, I think you need to fish it on a fly rod.
I know.
It'll totally change your life.
It's not a fly rod. It's a deep lake. It's a
But you can catch them on the surface with a popper. And if you catch a sizable smallmouth on a popper and a fly rod,
Oh, these guys are so obsessed with making it look like they're just like an everyman, just a regular old normal fellow that's just like everybody else. Jesus Christ, please get over yourselves. Begging you.
I'm a 18-foot deep shoal guy, but
sinking line.
but so my wife thought that I had fish removed from my thumbs because she never saw a picture of me that didn't have a fish hanging off my hand. But I
Wow, that's so super funny.
haven't fished it.
Because you're absorbed in trying to figure
I'm
out what's
absorbed in
happening.
raising kids. I'm absorbed in other things. My wife has issues I got to help her with. And I have this fear of buying a boat.
I mean, buying a boat is stupid, I've been told.
But you, as someone who has taken, ample intellectual energy and intelligence and focused it on trying to figure out what are we watching, which I think
Right.
is like a fair way to describe what you're doing. Like, what is this? What's the truth of it? Has that been worth doing?
That's the question. That is the question. And there was a time where I thought if I could get to the truth, then that would help in some way. But now it's not as clear.
Tell me what.
Well, now, first of all, what is the truth, right? The truth is now becoming very ambiguous. Last year I wrote
I don't think the truth is ambiguous. I think you're dumb as dog shit is the problem, but okay.